Hey guys, what's up? This is Zach with Deeply Driven Outdoors. You wouldn't know it by today since we got a bit of a cold front today, but the weather is warming up, which means it's getting closer and closer to time for us to run diddy poles. Been doing some bait fishing, just generally getting ready amongst turkey hunting. But today, I just want to do a video on our setup for bait storage. So with running diddy poles, we go through a lot of bait. Which we've got kind of a system worked out after having done it for several years. I want to show you kind of how we store the bait. Andy's got a big bait tank at his house, and we're making some improvements on that today, as well as doing a couple other little projects I want to go over with you. So he's going to talk about how he's got the bait tank set up, the improvements we're doing to the bait tank, and I'll show you a couple other little projects we're working on today too. All right, so this is the bait tank system that Andy made himself, and he's gonna kind of talk about what the general setup we got going on.
Bolt liquid container I got this a few years ago. I ran some 1.25 PVC down in here to suck up the water. It's got holes drilled all the way down it. Suck up the water. It goes down to a pole filtration system I got at Menards. It's roughly 80 gallons a minute or something like that. And it goes back up to the other PVC you see here. Aerates the water, cleans the water at the same time. Something simple. I mean, that's basically it. And right now we're putting a screen on it since we got chubs on there.
Yeah.
Chubs are acrobats, so.
Right. Yeah, so last year, and I remember we had this year prior as well, we mainly had sunfish, bluegill, bullhead in here, and didn't have a good spot to catch chubs, which are great bait for catfish. But they like to jump right out of bait containers like this, and every time we'd catch them, they would jump out, and then Andy would find them dead on the floor. So today, we are going to build a screen top for this to help keep the chubs inside the bait container once they're in there. All right, and we grabbed some 2x2s from the hardware store, and we've got some like netting screen stuff that we're gonna put on here, and this is gonna be like the frame for the screen that we're gonna put on top of the bait tank. But we're kind of getting everything cut down to size and putting hinges on it. All right, and this is the two pieces to the frame. All we did, just measured our bait container, and we had parts cut down, so we're using 2x2, cut down to size. All right, we're getting the screening stapled onto the frames. This one's done here. This stuff is just called pet screen. It was like $10 at Menards, whatever, you can use window screen or whatever, but this stuff is what we went with. It's kind of rubbery. So we're just getting finished up with stapling this onto the screen. We'll trim off the excess and then put it on the bait tank and throw the hinges on. All right, this is the finished product. We got the hinges on. The screen frame is covering the bait tank, and it opens and closes just fine like that. Now we can access our bait, and we can keep the chubs from jumping out and dying on the floor, which is great because we really like using chubs for bait, but they really like escaping the bait tank. So this is a good addition. Okay, so we've got a pretty elaborate bait tank situation at Andy's place, which is great. We just made it a little bit better by adding that screen. If you don't have the means to have that kind of a setup, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, because I'm making a bait tank at my house. It's going to be smaller, easier. It's not going to be as good because it probably won't keep bait as long as it doesn't have a filtration system, but it's going to hold bait just fine, for the time being. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I went to Menards and I got this is just a 20-gallon trash can. I chose an aluminum one just because it's not dark, so you can actually see the bait fish in the tank a little bit better. But I think I paid $19 for this. If you got one just laying around, a plastic one will work. Usually, what do you want to go with, 20 to 50 gallons. If you got a 55-gallon drum, you can cut that and use it. A 32-gallon trash can, whatever you got. I'm going with the 20-gallon aluminum one, and I'm going to have you use a plug-in aerator which I'll show you here. So I got the Air Bubbles 2, the 110 Air Bubbles 2. It just plugs into the wall, so I'll plug it into an outdoor outlet. I'll keep this whole system on my patio. Comes with 2 air stones. I paid 28 bucks for this, so call it 30 bucks for this and 20 for the trash can, and ultimately you've got a, if you're buying everything brand new, you got a bait system ready to go where you can store bait at your place. Doesn't take up a ton of room, and you just have bait on hand. Alright, so we got the hole drilled for the air hose. Stick that in, and really all I got to do is hook that up to the powered unit and plug it in, add water, add bait, ready to go. So I've been slacking with rod and reel fishing, and a lot of the reason for that is you get off work, I don't really have bait shops closed, whatever. So this way I can keep the little dinks that we don't put on diddy poles, like the small sunfish, small chubs, things like that, that we won't even put on diddy poles. I can keep those in my house. And then if I want to go rod and reel fishing, I just got bait right there. Scoop 6 of them out and go. And so, okay, so when I go bait fishing, and I'm going to do some videos on catching bait, but when I go bait fishing, this is what I take out to the pond, the creek, wherever I'm bait fishing at. It's just a 5-gallon bucket, super simple, right? With a bubble box, aerator, and I got a 5-gallon bucket lid. You don't necessarily have to have it, but like I was saying earlier, chubs like to jump out, so if you're catching chubs, definitely want a lid on there. Obviously you just stick the aerator hose right through there. So that's what I use. I'd recommend, 3 to 5 gallon if you're out there and you're really getting into the bait. You don't want anything too small. So I take this out to the pond or the creek, fill it up, come back to Andy's house, and then put the bait fish that we catch in that large bulk liquid container live well that we have for bait. And so that's pretty much it. I just want to do a video on how we store a lot of bait for catfishing. When we run diddy poles, we got 5 poles per person. Usually we got 3 people out checking them several times, so we're rebaiting the poles several times, not to mention what we go through for rod and reel fishing, which we have not done enough of lately, and we're going to do more of this year. So we need a lot of bait. We like to have it on hand. We can go to the bait shop. If you do it a lot, it winds up getting kind of pricey. Plus, it's just fun to catch your own bait. It's just kind of fulfilling. So we like to go out and catch our own bait. This is how we store it. I'm going to do some videos on catching bait, different kinds of catfish bait, so on and so forth. But that's it for now. Check out my video too. We did a live well bait well for cheap last year. We used a large, I think it was 150 quart used cooler I had laying around. Got a aerator on that. I'll put a link up to that video. Definitely check that out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can see us use these things in action. We got a lot of catfishing coming up, so as well as a lot of other kinds of fishing, a lot of hunting. So hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching Deeply Driven Outdoors. Catch you next time.